I'm Benjy. I'm the front man of Locking. So do you want to know a bit more about Locking?
Yep.
So Locking are a five-piece from sort of like Essex and again like London. We say London just because obviously it's easier just to say London than Essex, but obviously we're a bit of both anyway. So I suppose we take the London. And yeah, so we're just sort of a indie band from them areas really.
Okay. And how did you all meet?
So the bassist Sam and Angus, our other guitarist, we just had like a little mess around like band. When we was in like when we was probably like 16, 17. And then we had like a few people turn up to a few gigs. So we're like, oh, maybe we should start taking this a bit more seriously. Like we're actually really enjoying ourselves. And then a few of the boys that already preempted they were going to go uni and not be able to take it that seriously. So we are like, oh, okay, well, that's fine. We're all in agreement. We're still mates, whatever. Like we're just like, oh, we'll look for some new members, whatever. And then we didn't really think much about it. It was at a community festival in London, and we just chatted to some boys that I met because I'm a West Ham fan and they're West Ham fans as well. And then yeah, I was obviously been mouthing off like, I'm in a band. And at the time I wasn't really, but just typical. And yeah, he was like, oh, I play guitar. And then yeah, that was the start of that. And then we went Reading Festival about a month later. And then our friend of the band's boyfriend at the time is a drummer, and we were just like, just want to come and have a jam. And then yeah, that was this time September last year. We sort of had our first practice, and then yeah, from then on really, we just literally every weekend since, maybe more, we've just been in the studio and practicing and writing tunes and that. So it's good fun. We enjoy it massively.
So who were your musical influences growing up?
Obviously we're quite a young band, so I still say we're still growing up really, like we're still gathering our influences and things like that. But in general the band has so many different influences, each of their own. Sort of like Paddy, our guitarist, he loves Paul Weller, and he'll tell you that if you ever spoke to him, he doesn't stop going on about him. He loves Stone Roses. Sam loves Arctic Monkeys, always has, but he listens to loads of stuff, loads of random stuff. And then Angus, our other guitarist, he loves Foals. He's always loved Foals. And then sort of myself, I like digging into like smaller bands, like less well-known bands and things like that. A band called Sticky Fingers from Australia, I'm massively into. I like the Aussie scene and the New Zealand scene. That's massively a bit of me. But yeah, loads and loads of different influences, like each person. But it sort of comes together as some nice mix. It's just a nice mix of like influences, really. But it sort of comes together, yeah.
I think, like you say, it helps when you have a bit of a mixture, because it's all right if you all like the same sort of thing, but if you have the mixture, you kind of get the different sounds and the inspiration from the different kind of bands as well. It's not just all one certain sound.
Yeah, exactly. Like yeah. Before it was sort of we'd all like when we used to mess about, we'd do a few covers. Sticky Fingers, we did a few covers of them. Like this is years ago. I'm talking when we used to just jam. Yeah, we just sort of and then yeah, just stemmed from there really. Yeah, it's good.
Okay. So your new single at the moment, can you tell us a little bit more about it?
So Rosy Cheeks, yeah. So it was actually like the first song we wrote where we actually thought, wow, like this sounds like a proper song. Like this is like again probably like October last year, and it was a sort of a song that just come together in my study. Paddy had the riff, our guitarist, and the melody since he was like 15. And because obviously he'd just been playing guitar in his bedroom writing songs but never been in a band. So he brought it to the table and was just like, yeah. And his dad always says he's sick of it because he's heard this song so many times just from when he's younger. But yeah, he started doing it. And usually with the lyrics I write, basically when we write all together. So someone will bring something to the table and then we'll all sort of write as a group rather than someone writes the whole song. So like I usually write lyrics there and then, and it's all mood based. It can be about someone else or it can be like my own feelings. But yeah, that Paddy literally turned around to me and was like, just write some catchy lyrics for this one. It just needs catchy lyrics. And I was like, we just ruined the whole reason I write lyrics, but we'll do it anyway. So yeah, that's where the whole Rosy Cheeks and Blue Eyes lyrics come from. Just wanted something catchy and sort of that sticks with you, and it did all right.
That's a different one. I've never had that before. Usually when people say it's like, usually people say like, oh, it's like a thing it's took us months to work out. Oh, it's never usually just someone saying
Uh,
we need some catchy lyrics.
no, no, literally, it was, I'll be dead honest with you. Like, it literally is catchy lyrics because I'll be honest, all the other songs, so the previous singles of that teenager was all written like from the heart, like what it's like to be a teenager and all that. And even the songs we've got coming out, like, and all the songs we've got written already, like they're all really like personal. But this one tune, like, there's probably a couple tunes like it as well. But this one tune, it was like, look, I've had this for ages, and it has got a catchy like riff to it. So I was just like, yeah, we can go with something catchy for this one. And as a thought of that, but I think the bulk of the song is relatable to someone. Like, I think that's the whole thing about music, isn't it? Like, someone can take what they want from the tune. But yeah, that one, I was just like, yeah, let's just get something along the lines of that. I'll be honest.
Right. You've said a little bit already about it, but can you tell us a little bit more about your music? Basically how it goes from, like you say, writing the lyrics to going to the
Yeah.
studio and recording it.
Yeah, so Paddy or Angus, our two guitarists, they'll basically, either of them will work on something, or like even I play a bit of guitar, not a lot, but I might send them an idea for something, or we might be listening to something in the car and they're like, oh, I like the sound of this, blah blah blah. But like, yeah, we sort of just use that to branch off into other things, and then when it comes to it, like the song might at the start sound like something, and then at the end be something completely different, just because we've all come together and we've all pitched in different ideas. Again, it comes with that loads of different influences sort of thing. Well, Ollie the drummer will be like, well, I like this drums to like this sort of sound, blah blah blah, and then a bassist will do something. So yeah, it just all comes together. Sometimes it can take 2 hours, sometimes it can take like ages, but yeah, we just sort of, we don't really leave the song until it's done perfect. We never really do a song that's sort of unfinished. We like to finish them. So like, say 1 week we don't finish it, we'll carry on with it the next. We'll never sort of have an unfinished song. It's always about just keeping it consistent, really.
Do you find as well when you're creating songs, do you find it when you get like, if you get stuck in like a certain point of one, do you feel like sometimes if you leave it and then come back to it, that helps sometimes, or do you literally feel like you have to sort it there and then?
I feel like sometimes it can get a bit overwhelming if you're trying too hard to write a song. Like, it can get a bit too much if you're sort of really focusing on like, and that's something we've come to understand like over the last year or so. Like, if a song's not really working, just leave it, because you're bound to think of something. We'll still record it. We'll record what we have, even if it's just a verse, and then someone will be like, "Oh, wait, that will work really well with that," or just like if you're on a walk or something, you'll be like, "Oh, that sounds sick," or it can be like anything. Do you know what I mean? But there's only been a few times where we've actually stopped a song and thought, "No, let's just leave it." Sort of, even if at the end, like weeks later, we'll be like, "It sounds rubbish." It is what it is. You don't know that until you've finished it. So a song unfinished is a song. It's not a song. So it needs to be finished. Do you know what I mean?
Can you describe your music in 3 words?
I'd say melodious. It's just tuneful. Like, it's, yeah, there's always something to it. I'd like to say catchy. That's obviously opinion based, but I'd like to say they're quite catchy, the tunes. And in terms of like lyrics, again, just going back to what I was saying, it's like quite relatable. Like, I'd like to write a song that someone out there can relate to, if not everyone. Like, everyone's going to take it a different way, but yeah, I'd like it to be relatable.
So for anyone that's never heard of your band before and they're just about to play your music for the first time,
Yeah.
what should they expect to hear?
Thick melodies, funky bass line, and yeah, again, relatable lyrics. I think that's what each song pins down to. I think that's the main thing we aim for when we write a song. It's just like something that people can dance and relate to, really. Like, we love writing songs that people are on their feet to dance in. There's always time for slow songs though, but yeah, relatable and dancey.
I think as well, at the moment, I think we all need something that's, going to get us out of seat at the minute, especially at the moment with lockdown. We need something that's going to boost us or make us all like
feel
not
good
like just
tunes.
sitting around doing nothing all day.
Yeah, literally, yeah, feel good tunes are where it's at the moment. I think everyone needs a bit of a feel good uplifting tune.
So what would you say makes your music stand out from other bands?
I think it just goes down to the rawness of it. I feel like from start to finish, it's just, we're always aiming the like not our fans but the people to sort of relate to the tunes. And I think, yeah, just the rawness of it, of just coming from nothing and sort of a project that comes all together as a group. Um, it's not chemical at all. It's all very natural. It's all very built up between each other. There's never a moment where it's like we'll add something from another song. It'll always be what feels right to us, and it's always from the heart. It's always very natural.
So where you're based, I know you say it's obviously between Essex and London.
Yeah.
But do you feel there's enough around for bands like yourself to get out there and be able to put on a gig? Do you feel there's enough around the scene to basically help yourselves, really?
I'd say yes and no. Like obviously Essex, not so much. That area, but obviously London's like it's brilliant for the music scene. There's a lot going on. I still think up north at the moment, like in terms of indie, like it's just massive. Like there's so many more bands coming through and things like that. But the sky's your limit anywhere you are, to be honest. You could live in a little town wherever, like it doesn't matter. Like it is what you make it at the end of the day. So if you want to make it, like you can, in my eyes. Like you just got to do it. You've got to put the work in, the graft to do it. But yeah, it's definitely support for us. We've got like loads of people backing us around here and things like that. So yeah, no, it's good. It's good.
Obviously, during this strange time we're all in, how have you all found making music and keeping the connection between you and the fans?
So in terms of the making music, like we've really honed in. Well, the first lockdown anyway, really honed in on producing online and sort of sending each other demos that I sort of just stuck into my computer and pressed play and see what it'd sound like, sort of thing. And we feel like we found our sound during the first lockdown. We found out what we really wanted, because everyone was on their own. We sort of had to come up with something that would work as a whole piece and not send in what we thought would be good. So we sort of had to think for each other as well in terms of the writing. And then in terms of like the fans, it's just sort of a matter of releasing the content on social media. Like we did isolation covers that I just made on the computer as well, just sort of put together some like footage of us all playing. Like we did our first single, Teenager. We did like a little isolation cover of that. We did a cover of Don't Start Now by Dua Lipa. Yeah, no, we just sort of putting content out that people, Watermelon Sugar we did, that's it. So yeah, it's just putting some content out, do you know what I mean? Just some feel good stuff to sort of uplift everyone again, get everyone in the mood, do you know what I mean? So it's a bit rubbish that we can't obviously be gigging and things like that. So it's just about putting the content out that people want to see, really.
That's it. I think people have found, especially like say bands like yourself, because obviously you've not been able to gig, so it has been difficult to try and keep that connection. So but you found ways of doing it, like say online live streams, things like that. You've just got
Yeah,
to go
exactly.
digital for the time being. But I think everyone's well and truly ready for a proper gig.
Oh
Really.
yeah, I think it's gonna when we can eventually, even if it's like some socially distant stuff, or even if there's just less people, it's still gonna go off, isn't it? It's gonna be mega. I think during this time, a lot of bands have sort of come through as well. Like, and to be fair, on the other hand, some bands have obviously gone, and like there's some bands that are not doing much at the moment. But at the same time, it's been a positive and a negative at the same time. It's been a bit of a weird scenario, but I feel like as a band we've dealt with it quite well, and we've sort of had the right support around us to sort of help us get through it. But yeah, we've all helped each other out with it, and sort of now, hopefully, fingers crossed, we're coming towards the back end of this lockdown and like all this bad stuff. So yeah, hopefully we can get some socially distanced gigs booked in and some more proper festivals and that for next summer. Hopefully, we'll just see what happens. Everything's a bit in the air, isn't it?
I know it's a little bit difficult to say at the moment, but what are your plans for the rest of this year and also for next year?
I think in terms of plans, we can only pen down to really what we're going to release and what we want to release. Like in terms of streaming, obviously we're going to try and get as many gigs booked in as we can, but you can never really say like, oh, we're doing this gig at this time, because we don't know what's going to happen. But in terms of the music, we're in the studio Sunday, so hopefully we'll have a song out early January, our third single, and then coming towards sort of February, March, hopefully an EP will be on the cards and start releasing little short EPs, get out to people. We'll really enjoy writing and making that as well. That'd be class. But yeah, just gonna try releasing as much music as we can. I think that's what you can do in these scenarios, isn't it?
If you had to be remembered for one thing apart from your music, what would you like it to be?
Um, as a group, like we just want to. I keep saying relatable, and I need to find another word for relatable because I've overused it so much. But I get it does come down to that thing. We just want to be a band that the people can connect with and talk to as well, rather than sort of just, we don't just want to release music and play gigs. We want to be a band that people can talk to and sort of like connect with socially as well. Like we'd never want it to be just us releasing music and then coming into our gigs and that, like just raw connections. I think that's what we all love. It's just talking to people, meeting new people. Like and that's just a massive part of it. To start, like obviously if you're starting as, you got to start from somewhere and you got to start from zero, and you've got to make the contacts and talk to people to actually get on and on and on. And the thing is, that shouldn't stop. Even if you do make it like mega and you're selling out venues, there should never be a point where you stop talking to the fans or stop like making connections. I think the one thing you've always got to make time for is the people that support it. So
Definitely.
that's not even with the fans, that's like the bloggers and the venues, the producers, everyone. Like everyone's here to support each other at the end of the day because we want to do one thing.
Definitely. And is there any information that you want me to put onto the interview as well?
I guess you could promote the Movember that's going on in a minute. I'll send you the link to Movember. Yeah, we've got a little Movember going on, me and Sam raising money for Movember. So I think we've got like a £200 target, something like that. But every little helps, I guess, isn't it? Towards these good little charities helping support men's mental health, men's like cancer types. Yeah, just that's a massive support charity that we massively a part of. Yeah, so that's my rubbish attempt of a moustache, but it's all for the cause, isn't it? At the end of the day, so much. Massively appreciate you interviewing us as well. Obviously, times like this, it's obviously tough to get hold of people and sort of like everyone, as we talk about that support network of people. But yeah, massively appreciate people like you sort of supporting the smaller bands and things like that. That's mega.
Thank you anyway for taking your time to do this as well.
What a legend. Thank you very much.
All right. Cheers.
Pleasure to meet you. Nice to see you soon.
Bye.